So, Congressman, you were in the Capitol on January 6th when the demonstrators poured in. Where were you when that incident began?
So the speaker actually asked, because of COVID, no more than 80 members of the
Uh-huh.
435 be on the House floor. So I decided, I've seen this a number of times. Normally I was there on the floor when they would count the electoral ballots, but I would let the new freshman, Peter Meyer
Sure.
from Michigan, one of them, to be on the House floor. I went back to my office and then watched it on TV. And the interesting point of fact here was I'm one of the couple members that actually has a balcony in the Rayburn building. So
Yeah.
it overlooks the mall. And I saw all the protesters who had taken the subway to the Capitol South metro stop, walk then down to the White House, 16 blocks, not all that far. It was a cold morning, and then walk back. And I was out on my balcony watching much of this. And in fact, the National Guard, the state police, all of those folks literally came and emptied out from their vehicles right below my office as I watched this thing unfold that afternoon.
Now, Congressman, from your perspective, having been there that day, was this a riot? Was this a demonstration? Was this an insurrection? How would you categorize it?
No, I would call it an insurrection. They knew what they were doing. Yeah, there was a lot of mob. I'm sure there were some people that sort of got caught up into it, but there were thousands of people. I mean, tens of thousands of people is my guess. I watched the president's speech on my TV from my office and went out again back and forth to my balcony, which I left the door open. The individuals were cleared out about 6 or 7 o'clock that night. And this thing started about 2:30. So I watching it on my TV and my C-SPAN in my office. I saw when the speaker literally said, "Let's get out of here." I knew that the chamber had been broached. And after it was quiet, I would say, I went over to the Capitol an hour or two before votes started again. It was important to finish the job on January 6th. I spent time talking to the SWAT team folks. They had been beaten up. They were just literally lying on the floor, and there was broken glass. You saw the vestiges of what they did. And certainly afterwards, not only do we have a Capitol Hill policeman from my hometown, St. Joe Benton Harbor, that I spent time with, but also spent some time with the other officers that were there, literally hours, as they described to me, what happened. One of them telling me as they literally dragged him out of the Capitol door, shoot him with his gun.
What culpability do you feel former President Donald Trump has in what happened on January 6th?
What disturbed me the most was following when it was over, President Trump said that he had done everything, in his words, totally appropriate. I didn't think that was the case. And I know just to close, Kevin McCarthy, minority leader for us, Republican leader, called him from his office in the Capitol and said, "Mr. President, call the dogs off. These are your supporters. Tell them to stop. I mean, you're doing a terrible thing for your legacy, et cetera, as we all know." And the president's response, allegedly, that Kevin reported was, "I guess they care more about the election than you did." That's not totally appropriate in my book.
Now, so Congressman, I wanted to ask you about that as we close. The broader issue here. Vice President Kamala Harris said the other day that the threat to our democracy is her biggest concern. Do you feel our democracy is threatened and this represents some sort of broader movement that may undermine our republic?
I sure hope not. I don't know that I could go as far as what she said. I didn't see specifically her comments, but we're a democracy. Every vote should count. I believe that there are the safeguards there to make sure that ballots are counted. But I do think that we have to get to the bottom of what happened a year ago now, January 6th.